I challenge you to think about your biggest goal right now. Thought about it? Got it? Now let me ask you a question. Is that goal really worthy of your potential as a Muslim man? In the next few short minutes, I'm going to show you why you need to think bigger, dream bigger, and how to set goals that are truly worthy of your capabilities and of your status as a Muslim. You know, many of us fall into what I call the comfort trap. It's like being stuck in quicksand. The more comfortable you get, the more you sink deeper and deeper into averageness. We forget the true potential that we actually are capable of, and also the role that Allah has given us as Muslim men on this earth. Let me tell you about Muhammad al-Fatih. He conquered Constantinople at the age of 21, which is modern day Istanbul. Now compare that to many of us today and what we're up to. When you weigh the two up, it's a bit of a wake-up call, isn't it? But don't worry, because in this video, we're going to cover high ambition, what it really means, how it's possible for someone, no matter how average they feel today, and how it can transform your own life, but then also the lives of those around you and the whole Muslim Ummah. So stick around, because this video could be the turning point in you flicking that switch and becoming someone who aims for greatness and then eventually with hard work achieves greatness. So you know how some cars barely make it down the street while others just smoothly cruise by? Well, it turns out our ambition works in the same way. There are 3 levels of ambition, and knowing which one you're driving will impact how you need to react to up your levels. Let's break it down. First, we've got what you might call the broken down car ambition. These are the brothers who are basically NPCs. They're living their life on autopilot. They're not really aiming high, not really doing much outside of their normal level in their social class. So they might have a job, they might even be married, maybe have some kids. Maybe the best thing they would achieve is buying a house. They really don't have much ambition. They're not aiming for much. If you ask them what their goals are, it might literally just be, yeah, I'm just saving money, just getting by, this and that. This kind of language is what they use. This, of course, is the broken down car level. We don't want to aim for this whatsoever. So to know if you're driving this broken down car, ask yourself, when was the last time I challenged myself? What are my actual goals and dreams for my life? Are they normal for someone in my position, or are they higher, or maybe are they even lower than someone in a normal position like mine? And then next we have the normal car level of ambition. And these people, they're Muslims, they're praying, they might have a job, again, all like that person in the broken down car. The thing though that they're ambitious in is something that is a lowly thing. For example, someone who's really amazing at video games, are they ambitious? Yes. Someone who is a top level entertainer kind of YouTuber or actor, putting aside halal and haram, are they ambitious? Yes, they're ambitious. But that person who is in the top 10 of gamers in the world in whatever, Fortnite, what have they really achieved? What have they done for the world? It's like somebody who buys a private jet and then they don't use it. Well, then what was the point? So this person has the ambition, but they're using it on something lowly like video games. So what was the point? So to know if you're in this category of ambition, you're driving this normal car level of ambition, ask yourself, the things that I achieve the most in, the things that I really put my effort in and I'm driven towards, are they things that are pleasing to Allah? Are they things that are going to get me higher and higher in the akhirah? Are they things that have an impact on the world and there's a strong intention behind why I'm doing it? And are the things that I'm achieving, are they just benefiting me, or are they benefiting other people around me as well? That's how you're going to know if you're in this level of ambition. And finally, we have the supercar level of ambition. And what this is combining the 2 things that we discussed, which is having high ambition, aiming really high, aiming to be one of the best in the world, or shaping an industry, or shaping a village or a town or a whole country. But then you're also doing it for a high matter that is high in and of itself. So the example I give for this is wudu. Somebody who tries to perfect their wudu has higher ambition than the one who tries to perfect their gaming technique. Even though the one that might be in the top 10 of gamers in the world, they might be famous, they might be rich because of it, but ultimately they're climbing the wrong ladder up to the top of the complete wrong building. Whereas the one who focuses and puts his effort on perfecting his wudu, on perfecting his salah, on perfecting his recitation of the Quran, this one, he might not be famous, he might not be rich from it, but he is putting his ambition and his energy and his effort into something that is high in and of itself. That's what makes you have high ambitions. And we can multiply that, of course. So the one who focuses his ambitions on perfecting his wudu, he has high ambition, no doubt. But what about the one who tries to end colonization, end poverty in a certain country or in the whole world, or tries to push forward the dawah efforts online or offline in a certain country, and thousands and tens of thousands convert to Islam at his hands or the hands of his organization, that's an even higher level, because having more impact is more pleasing to Allah. So this is the supercar level of ambition. And you'll know that you have this level of ambition if you're working really hard, you're really ambitious, you're aiming high, you're trying to do things that are well above average, but also it's fueled by pleasing Allah. Something that we're encouraged to do in the Quran, or something that we're encouraged to do in a hadith. That is how you know you've got this level of ambition. Now you might be wondering, what's the big deal? As long as I'm doing the minimum, I'm praying my prayers, I'm feeding my family, I'm Muslim in the end, am I not okay? Well, I would say not exactly. You see, Allah made us Muslims to be leaders on this earth. And Allah made us men to be leaders on this earth. So if you're a Muslim and you're a man, you have a double duty to be a leader. And a leader, by definition, they need to be a level above in their ambition, in their effort. We're meant to set an example, to inspire others. And that's hard to do when we're in our broken down car level ambition, just trying to get out of first gear. Let me give you an example of the Prophet ﷺ himself, because he's our role model in everything, and specifically in aiming high and having a big vision for your life. You see, when the Muslims were under attack and they were digging a trench to defend Medina against the mushrikeen who were attacking them, he said, I see the treasures of Persia. Basically, that we're going to take Persia, we're going to get access to all of that treasure. What is that? That's big ambition. They're right now at a point where Islam itself and the Prophet ﷺ himself is under threat of death, is under threat of it being extinguished there and then, after having not spread beyond one city, Medina. And the Prophet ﷺ is telling the Sahaba that I see a time when Persia will be under our control. That's vision, that's aiming high. And in the Prophet ﷺ's words himself, he said, Allah loves that when you do something, you do it with ihsan, you do it in the best way, you do it in an ambitious way. And that's the thing as well. If you're aiming for a medium NPC level of ambition, then you'll probably just think about this life. But it's about the next life as well. So where do you stand? Are you in the broken down car category where you're just making it through the motions every day? Or in the regular car category where you might actually have some ambition, but it's directed towards things that ultimately are lowly in and of themselves? Or are you in the other category that we're all aiming for, and that we hope to stay in that category if we're in it, where you're aiming high, you're working hard, you've got a vision, and it's also for something that Allah loves, something that Allah praises. And here's the good news. Recognizing what level you're at is the first step to actually upping your level of ambition. It's like realizing that you're actually driving a rubbish car and it could break down at any moment after the mechanic sees it. And that in reality, you could actually be behind the wheel of a sports car. And once you know, of course, that's when you can start making a change, inshallah. So now that you've identified your level of ambition, let's talk about why it matters so much. Did you know that your personal drive or your lack of personal drive could be the key to unlocking success for your whole family, your whole community, the whole ummah? It's true, and I'm about to show you how. You see, high ambition is not just about personal gain and being that champion with the trophy standing in front of all the photographers. It's about making a real difference in the world, and of course you can benefit from that as well in the meantime. Think about it like this. When you throw a stone in a pond or in the sea even, it doesn't just go in and drop down to the bottom. It sends ripples and shockwaves throughout that body of water. Those ripples spread out and it affects all of the water around it. That's what your ambition can do. Let me give you a real example. Have you heard of Al-Khwarizmi? This was a Muslim who lived over 1,000 years ago. But his ambition and his hard work, of course, changed the whole world that we live in today. He wasn't content with being just a good Muslim, just praying, just making a living. No, he wanted to push the boundaries of knowledge. And you know what? He ended up inventing algebra. And they say the drive behind inventing that was actually in calculating zakat. So it was for that higher ambition as well. So that's right. Every time you use a computer, a smartphone, anything like that, you're benefiting from Al-Khwarizmi's ambition. But it's also not just about the big names in history. Right now, you might be focused just on your personal goals, starting a business, getting a better income, maybe getting married. And that's great. But this video is about making you think bigger. What if you could develop a vision, a project, a business that could impact your whole neighborhood or your whole family or the whole ummah? You know, the Prophet ﷺ himself, he said, when you ask of Allah, ask for firdaus, ask for the highest level. And that's because Allah is capable of giving you everything and anything, of course, and the highest level of Jannah. But it also tells us that if you're going to have a dream, if you're going to have a vision, if you're going to have an ambition for your life, make it a high ambition. And now you might be thinking, okay, that was fine back in the day, the Prophet ﷺ, Khwarizmi, this and that. But what about today? Most people I see, they are going for those things like being a footballer or making money in this business or doing this and that. And again, that's okay. But there are people today who have those high ambitions. For example, Abdurrahman al-Sumait, he passed away a few years ago. He was from Kuwait and he dedicated his life to helping people in East Africa through da'wah and through his charity work. And even when he went to propose to who was going to be his future wife, he told her, yes, I want to get married to you, but by the way, my life is going to be like this, this, and this. I'm going to be traveling a lot. I'm going to be doing this and that, because he had that ambition for his life. And may Allah bless her, she knew that about him and she accepted him because she was on board with that ambition. And her and the kids, they supported him in all the great work he did. And now they get a share of that reward, inshallah. And now Abdurrahman Sumait, rahimahullah, is remembered as one of the most impactful Muslims in recent times. And he wasn't focusing on his personal goals, although he did have a wife, kids, family, and I'm sure he was fine financially. So when you aim high, what you might have heard from some of these business guys out there is it's all about you and what you can get for yourself. But the true high ambition that you're actually going to enjoy and feel more satisfied with is when you're having that impact and helping people other than yourself as well. But that's not to say that the personal benefits won't come as well, inshallah. So now you know that ambition is important, you know your level of ambition, but how do we actually grow it if we're at a low level of ambition right now? You might think it's all willpower, but that's not the whole story. In fact, there's a surprising factor that might have a bigger impact on your ambition than what you might think. And it's something that you can actually change from today. Let's talk about some of these practical steps. Firstly, you know how your car, it needs fuel to run. Ambition, it needs knowledge to thrive. But I'm not just talking about reading books, watching videos. I mean really diving deep into learning. Ask questions, engage with material in a deep way, and be curious about the world around you. And what you find at the top levels of any topic is that those people that were pushing the levels, the people that put in the work that they didn't have to, but they chose to. And that's going to inspire you to see that you can actually aim high as well, and you can put in that extra work as well, and it does pay off when you do that. And the second thing is, you probably heard of the saying, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Well, there's a lot of truth to that, especially when it comes to ambition. If you're always around people who are fine with the minimum, guess what? You're probably going to find yourself in a lot of coffee shops, a lot of shisha cafes, just chilling, hanging out, not much to do once your work day is up. But when you surround yourself with people who are doing big things, you're actually going to feel embarrassed. You're going to see the progress they're making or that they've made, and you're going to feel, I want some of that. I want a slice of that pie. Now, here's something that you might not realize, but it actually will boost your ambition a lot. And that is reflecting on Allah's blessings on you. When you think about the fact that watching this video probably means you're in the top 10% most comfortable, wealthy people in the world. You've got so many blessings and comforts and opportunities. The fact that you're a Muslim is a big advantage. The fact you're a man is an advantage. The fact that you have internet is an advantage. Count all these blessings. And what that means is, yes, you should be grateful for them, but the biggest way of being grateful for something is acting upon those advantages, those privileges that you have, is taking them and using them for good. That is how you become more ambitious, by reflecting on what you've got and realizing that I've got all these things. I need to answer to Allah for these things. I need to take all these blessings and assets and turn them into real action and real change in the world, inshallah. Because as Allah says in the Quran, وَلَا تُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ, you will be asked on that day, on Yawm al-Qiyamah, about your blessings, about all the good things, the comforts that you had. So what's your answer going to be? Oh yeah, I had them, I enjoyed them. Yeah, thanks Allah. Or is it going to be, yes, I took those things and I harnessed them and I used them to make a change in the world. And let me share a personal story with you. You see, when I was in my early 20s, all I cared about was making a bit of money and getting married. That was about it. And once I achieved that at 26, alhamdulillah, I kind of coasted, just trying to work on my business, trying to earn more and more each month. But in the last couple of years, something changed. I developed a passion for behavior change, for coaching and mentorship. And eventually I landed on this concept of helping Muslim men become high performers and eventually leaders. It wasn't just about me anymore. It was about how I can help those people, and that would be my greatest reward, seeing the effects of my coaching. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, that sounds great and all, and it's great to have these big dreams, but what if I fail? Look, fear of failure is a big obstacle for all of us. Nobody wants to fail. No one wants to feel that failure, especially if it's public in front of other people. But here's a trick. Just start small. Set achievable, realistic goals, whatever they are for you, and work your way up. Each time you succeed, you'll build more confidence for bigger and bigger challenges, inshallah. And another common issue when it comes to ambition is lack of support. Maybe your family or friends don't see the world the way you see it. They don't see a reason for you to push yourself as hard as you want to push yourself. That's where finding mentors or just other brothers around you who are on the same wavelength as you really comes in handy. They'll get it and they won't pull you away from it. They'll encourage you to keep going when things are tough. And remember, developing high ambition is not a one-time thing. It's a journey that takes effort, it takes patience, and it takes propping yourself up or having those people around you to prop yourself up every now and then. But trust me, it's worth it. And frankly, you don't have any other option. So if you watch this and you're convinced on upping your ambition and doing something bigger, even if you start with a first small step, then you're gonna need a method of doing it. Otherwise, you're gonna get lost here. You're probably gonna go back to your broken down car. So to stop you doing that, I've made this video right here, which runs you through exactly how to set up a step-by-step plan on how to get your goal going and not burn out from it. Check it out right now. See you there.